heavenly will guide me always, so that all the choices I make are good ones, choices that are in harmony with your will as long as I live. A world of responsibility, architect of the world, author of her story, grant me the courage to participate in the world's design, to join in the unfolding of her story. I want to share in the responsibility of this world, to pray for her welfare, to care for her needs, to safeguard her treasures, to work for her rectification. Self-renewal, dear God, teach me to begin anew, to renew myself along with all the creation, just as you renew the entire world each day. Show me how I can break free of the constraints of my habits, the restraints of my insecurities, the shackles of my unwarranted fears. Fresh start, teach me, dear God, to make a fresh start, to break yesterday's patterns, to stop telling myself I can't where I can, I'm not when I am, I'm stuck when I am eminently free. The way home, center of all existence, help me find the way to that sacred sanctuary within myself, to the precious center of my existence. Help me discover my place in the world, that space where I truly belong, that space which belongs unconditionally to me. Dear God, I've wandered for so very long. Help me find my way home. Healing my life, dear God, what a mess I've made of my life, a hopeless mess. How will I ever right all that I've wronged, restore all that I've ruined, fix all that I've destroyed? Only you can help me, dear God. If you don't help me, what hope is there? Help me and heal my life. Reaching for wholeness, compassionate God, healer of my body, healer of my soul, heal me, strengthen my ailing body, soothe my aching heart, mend my shattered existence, make me whole. Rejuvenation, master of the world, you know the bitterness of my anguished heart, of my painful wounds, of my afflicted soul. It is more than I can bear, I beg you. Soften and sweeten the bitterness. Give me strength and courage, for my remedy too must certainly be bitter. My rejuvenation will not come easily. Healer of all, heal me. Measure of eternity, eternal God, grant me a measure of eternity. Lend me some permanence to this temporal life of mine. Grant health, happiness, and long life to my children and to their children, and as long as they live, some part of myself will survive, something of me will live on in this world. Give me life, dear God, and life to those who come after me. Children, loving God, what is more precious than our children? Is there any treasure that can be more beloved, more pure than those cherished souls we have brought into the world? Help me guide them well, dear God, and help them accept my guidance. Help them lead their life with faith, wisdom, and truth. Letting go, dear God, help me grow old with dignity and wisdom. As the twilight years cast their shadow upon me. Help my mind remain clear, at peace with the world and with itself. Let me learn to let go of my bonds and with this world, of my need for honor and status, of my attraction to physical indulgences, of my envy of others, of my regrets over all that might have been. Ageless aging, teach me, God, to live out my days focused on all that is meaningful in life, as unaccountable aches and pains multiply, as memory and retention fade. Teach me to relate to my physical existence with an ever-expanding recognition of its transient nature. Teach me to relate to my soul with an ever-expanding awareness of her eternal nature and ageless worth. Approaching God, my soul thirsts for you. Oh God, will I ever deserve to feel you beside me? There are so many obstacles that keep me from being what I want to be, a good person, a God-conscious person, but only I myself can change this. Help me make the effort to come closer to you. Help me long and yearn and strive for your nearness. True to self, my God, teach me to be true to myself. Never let me be swayed by the approval or the disapproval of others. Help me learn to depend on no one but you, and to look nowhere but within, to come to know my true self, that person I really am. In tune with God, oh dear God, be with me and help me strive to come close, to be fully committed to you. Let every part of me, physical, emotional, and spiritual, join in focused determination to fulfill your will. May my thoughts, my emotions, my words, and all my actions be wholly in tune with you. And thanks, oh God, I can never thank you enough for leading me toward the path to wholeness in life. You've shown me how to make my desires akin to your will, the way to rectification and renewal, to deep solace and healing, to meaning and eternal tranquility. It's only through actively seeking your will. Thank you, God, for leading me to that understanding.
This is the special thing about Buddhism. Everything in Buddhism sounds negative. Let's put it this way. Let's suppose you engage yourself in a relationship with the Buddha, or with one. I mean, there are hundreds of Buddhas. One we call Gautama is just the historical Buddha that everybody knows about. But one Buddha leads to another, because as a result of his relationships with people, he turns them into Buddhas too, awakened people. Now you meet one of these people, and he's going to give you a rough time. But one of the Buddhas running around these days is Krishnamurti. And Krishnamurti absolutely destroys everybody's religion. Why do you believe this? Why are you hanging on to that? Why do you want to insist that this idea is so? See? And he shows you that all your fixed formulations, all the ideas to which you cling, are spurious. And Buddhism was one of the ways of doing just that. So one might say simply this, to try and sum up what Buddhism is about. The word Buddha is derived from the root Bud in Sanskrit, B-U-D-H, which means to be awake. So the Buddha is the awakened man, the man who woke up. What does he wake up from? Obviously a dream. And what kind of a dream is this? Well, I would call it a state of hypnosis. And this state of hypnosis, although I'm using hypnosis in a rather archaic sense of the word, is a state of being entranced, spellbound, fascinated, and this is called, in Sanskrit, avidya. A-V-I-D-Y-A. Vidya is knowledge in Sanskrit. And it is the root from which we get videre in Latin, to see, and so vision in English. So putting the A in front of it means non. Avidya, not seeing. Ignorance, ignorance. Where you see but you ignore everything that you're not looking at. When you put the beak of a chicken on a white chalk line, and the chicken...
This is going to change your lead generation. This is the Listings Lab guide. This is the entire methodology that I use to grow my own 7-figure business. It's about 3 things.
The golden sayings of Epictetus. Are these the only works of providence in us? Would words suffice to praise or set them forth? Had we but understanding, should we ever cease hymning and blessing the divine power, both openly and in secret, and telling of his gracious gifts? Whether digging or plowing or eating, should we not sing the hymn to God? Great is God, for that he hath given instruments to till the ground withal. Great is God, for that he hath given us hands, and the power of swallowing and digesting, of unconsciously growing and breathing while we sleep. Thus should we ever have sung, yea, and this, the grandest and divinest hymn of all. Great is God, for that he hath given us a mind to apprehend these things, and duly to use them. What then? Seeing that most of you are blinded, should there not be some one to fill this place, and sing the hymn to God on behalf of all men? What else can I, that am old and lame, do but sing to God? Were I a nightingale, I should do after the manner of a nightingale. Were I a swan, I should do after the manner of a swan. But now, since I am a reasonable being, I must sing to God. That is my work. I do it, nor will I desert this my post, as long as it is granted me to hold it. And upon you, too, I call to join in this self-same hymn. How then do men act? As though one returning to his country who had sojourned for the night in a fair inn should be so captivated thereby as to take up his abode there. Friend, thou hast forgotten thine intention. This was not thy destination, but only lay on the way thither. Nay, but it is a proper place, and how many more of the sort there be, only to pass through upon thy way. Thy purpose was to return to thy country, to relieve the kinsman's fears for thee, thyself to discharge the duties of a citizen, to marry a wife, to beget offspring, and to fill the appointed round of office. Thou didst not come to choose out what places are most pleasant, but rather to return to that wherein thou wast born and where thou wert appointed to be a citizen. Try to enjoy the great festival of life with other men. But I have one whom I must please, to whom I must be subject, whom I must obey, God, and those who come next to him. He hath entrusted me with myself. He hath made my will subject to myself alone, and given me rules for the right use thereof. Rufus used to say, if you have leisure to praise me, what I say is not. In truth, he spoke in such wise that each of us who sat there thought that someone had accused him to Rufus, so surely did he lay his finger on the very deeds we did, so surely display the faults of each before his very eyes. But what saith
Ask
God?
her if she will start arresting and
Had it
punishing
been
gangs.
possible, Epictetus, I would have made both that body of thine and thy possessions free and unimpeded, but as it is, be not deceived. It is not thine own. It is but finely tempered clay. Since then this I could not do. I have given thee a portion of myself, and the power of desiring and declining and of pursuing and avoiding. In a word, the power of dealing with the things of sense. And if thou neglect not this, but place all that thou hast therein, thou shalt never be let or hindered. Thou shalt never lament. Thou shalt not blame or flatter any. What then seemeth this to thee a little thing? God forbid. Be content then therewith, and so I pray the gods. What saith Antisthenes? Hast thou never heard? It is a kingly thing, O Cyrus, to do well and to be evil spoken of. Aye, but to debase myself thus were unworthy of me. That said, Epictetus, is for you to consider, not for me. You know yourself what you are worth in your own eyes, and at what price you will sell yourself, for men sell themselves at various prices. This was why, when Florus was deliberating whether he should appear at Nero's shows, taking part in the performance himself, Agrippinus replied, appear by all means. And when Florus inquired, but why do not you appear? He answered, because I do not even consider the question. For the man who has once stooped to consider such questions, to reckon up the value of external things, is not far from forgetting what manner of man he is. Why, what is it that you ask me? Is death preferable or life? I reply life. Pain or pleasure? I reply pleasure. Well, but if I do not act, I shall lose my head. Then go and act, but for my part I will not act. Why? Because you think yourself but one among the many threads which make up the texture of the doublet. You should aim at being like men in general, just as
an actual situation.
of Israel. But we have to find some kind of solution with Israel. And this is, this is, nobody has the guts to say some things like this. Politicians haven't been that brave to say things like that and get elected, although they have said some things like that. So, but let's pray to God that I think we have also a little bit luck in France, in our European neighbor, most important country now in European Union for our security and for our diplomacy. France is the most important country. Of course, Germany's role is also important, but I mean, all of the countries are important. But France is the only nuclear power in European nuclear. Their army is very strong. So, and I hope that Mélenchon and this middle left government could be kind of also for some places in Germany, like the state of Thuringen and Sachsen, since we also go to election in September. So I land my point. Thank you very much. I hope that I haven't bothered you that much.
I have a last question, Firuz. I'm sorry. It's not the first.
Your thread has no ambition either to be anything distinguished compared with the other threads, but I desire to be the purple, that small and shining part which makes the rest seem fair. Why then do you? Then were I no longer the purple. If a man could be thoroughly penetrated as he ought with this thought that we are all in an especial manner sprung from God, and that God is the Father of men as well as of gods, full surely he would never conceive aught ignoble or base of himself, whereas if Caesar were to adopt you, your haughty looks would be intolerable. Will you not be elated at knowing that you are the Son of God? Now, however, it is not so with us, but seeing that in our birth these two things are commingled, the body which we share with the animals, and the reason and thought which we share with the gods, many decline towards this unhappy kinship with the dead, few rise to the blessed kinship with the divine. Since then every one must deal with each thing according to the view which he forms about it, those few who hold that they are born for fidelity, modesty, and unerring sureness in dealing with the things of sense, never conceive aught base or ignoble of themselves, but the multitude the contrary. Why, what am I, a wretched human creature with this miserable flesh of mine? Miserable indeed, but you have something better than the paltry flesh of yours. Why then cling to the one and neglect the other? Thou art but a poor soul laden with a lifeless body. The other day I had an iron lamp placed beside my household gods. I heard a noise at the door, and hastening down found my lamp carried off. I reflected that the culprit was in no very strange case. Tomorrow, my friend, I said, you will find an earthenware lamp, for a man can only lose what he has. The reason why I lost my lamp was that the thief was superior to me in vigilance. He paid, however, this price for the lamp, that in exchange for it he hastened to become a thief, in exchange for it to become faithless. If we were as intent upon our own business as the old fellows at Rome are upon what interests them, we too might perhaps accomplish something. I know a man older than I am, now superintendent of the corn market at Rome, and I remember when he passed through this place on his way back from exile, what an account he gave me of his former life, declaring that for future, once home again, his only care should be to pass his remaining years in quiet and tranquility. For how few years have I left, he cried. That, I said, you will not do, but the moment the scent of Rome is in your nostrils, you will forget it all, and if you can but gain admission to court, you will be glad enough to elbow your way in, and thank God for it. Epictetus, he replied, if you ever find me setting as much as 1 foot within the court, think what you will of me. Well, as it was, what did he do ere ever he entered the city? He was met by a dispatch from the emperor. He took it and forgot the whole of his resolutions. From that moment he has been piling one thing upon another. I should like to be beside him to remind him of what he said when passing this way, and to add how much better a prophet I am than you. What then? Do I say man is not made for an active life? Far from it, but there is a great difference between other men's occupations and ours. A glance at theirs will make it clear to you. All day long they do nothing but calculate, contrive, consult how to wring their profit out of foodstuffs, farm plots, and the like. Whereas I entreat you to learn what the administration of the world is, and will place a being endowed with reason holds therein, to consider what you are yourself, and wherein your good and evil consists. A man asked me to write to Rome on his behalf, who, as most people, had met with misfortune, for having been before wealthy and distinguished, he had afterwards lost all and was living here. So I wrote about him in a humble style. He, however, on reading the letter, returned it to me with the words, I asked for your help, not for your pity. No evil has happened unto me. True instruction is this, to learn to wish that each thing should come to pass as it does. And how does it come to pass? As the disposer has disposed it. Now he has disposed that there should be summer and winter, and plenty and dearth, and vice and virtue, and all such opposites for the harmony of the whole. Have this thought ever present with thee, when thou losest any outward thing, what thou gainest in its stead. And if this be the more precious, say not, I have suffered loss. Concerning the gods, there are who deny the very existence of the Godhead. Others say that it exists, but neither bestirs nor concerns itself, nor has forethought for anything. Third party attribute to it existence and forethought, but only for great and heavenly matters, not for anything that is on earth. A fourth party admit things on earth as well as in heaven, but only in general, and not with respect to each individual. A fifth of whom were Ulysses and Socrates, are those that cry, I move not without thy knowledge. Considering all these things, the good and true man submits his judgment to him that administers the universe, even as good citizens to the law of the state. And he that is being instructed should come thus minded, how may I in all things follow the gods, and how may I satisfied with the divine administration, and how may I become free, for he is free for whom all things come to pass, according to his will, and whom none can hinder. What then is freedom? Madness? God forbid, for madness and freedom exist not together. But I wish all that I desire to come to pass, and in the manner that I desire. You are mad, you are beside yourself. Know you not that freedom is a glorious thing and of great worth? But that what I desired at random, I should wish at random to come to pass, so far from being noble, may well be exceeding base. You must know that it is no easy thing for a principle to become a man's own, unless each day he maintained it, and hear it maintained, as well as work it out in life. You are impatient and hard to please. If alone you call it solitude, if in the company of men you dub them conspirators and thieves, and find fault with your very parents, children, brothers, and neighbors, whereas when by yourself you should have called it tranquility and freedom, and herein deemed yourself like unto the gods. And when in the company of the many you should not have called it a weirdsome crowd and tumult, but an assembly and a tribunal, and thus accepted all with contentment. What then is the chastisement of those who accept it? Not to be as they are. Is any discontented with being alone? Let him be in solitude. Is any discontented with his parents? Let him be a bad son and lament. Is any discontented with his children? Let him be a bad father. Throw him into prison. What prison? Where he is already, for he is there against his will. And wherever a man is against his will, there to him is a prison. Thus Socrates was not in prison, since he was there with his own consent. Knowing thou what a speck thou art in comparison with the universe, that is, with respect to the body, since with respect to reason thou art not inferior to the gods, no less than they. For the greatness of reason is not measured by length or height, but by the resolves of the mind. Place then thy happiness in that wherein thou art equal to the gods. Asked how a man might eat acceptably to the gods, Epictetus replied, if when he eats he can be just, cheerful, equable, temperate, and orderly, can he not thus eat acceptably to the gods? But when you call for warm water and your slave does not answer, or when he enters brings it lukewarm, or is not even found to be in the house at all, then not to be vexed nor burst with anger, is not that acceptable to the gods? But how can one endure such people? Slave, will you not endure your own brother that has God to his forefather, even as a son sprung from the same stock and of the same high descent as yourself? And if you are stationed in a high position, are you therefore forthwith to set up for a tyrant? Remember who you are and whom you rule, that they are by nature your kinsmen, your brothers, the offspring of God. But I paid a price for them, not they for me. Do you see whither you are looking? Down to the earth, to the pie, to the pit, to those despicable laws of the dead? But to the laws of the gods you do not look. When we are invited to a banquet, we take what is set before us, and were one to call upon his host to set fish upon the table, or sweet things, he would be deemed absurd. Yet in a word, we ask the gods for what they do not give, and that although they have given us so many things. Asked how a man might convince himself that every single act of this was under the eye of God, Epictetus answered, do you not hold that all things are bound together in one? I do. Well, and do you not hold that things on earth and things in heaven are continuous and in unison with each other? I do, was the reply. Else how should the trees so regularly, as though by God's command, at his bidding flower, at his bidding send forth shoots, bear fruit and ripen it, at his bidding let it fall and shed their leaves, folded up upon themselves lie in quietness and rest? How else, as the moon waxes and wanes, as the sun approaches and recedes, can it be that such vicissitude and alternation is seen in earthly things? If then all things that grow, nay, our own bodies are thus bound up with the whole, is it not this still truer of the souls? And if our souls are bound up and in contact with God as being very parts and fragments plucked from himself, shall he not feel every movement of theirs as though it were his own, and belonging to his own nature? But you say, I cannot comprehend all this at once. Why, who told you that your powers were equal to God's? Yet God hath placed by the side of each a man's own guardian spirit. To the Stoics, the guardian spirit was each man's reason, who is charged to watch over him, a guardian who sleeps, nor is deceived. For to what better or more watchful guardian could he have committed each of us? So when you have shut the doors and made a darkness within, remember never to say that you are alone, for you are not alone, but God is within, and your guardian spirit. What light do they need to behold what you do? To this God you also should have sworn allegiance, even as soldiers unto Caesar. They, when their service is hired, swear to hold the life of Caesar dearer than all else. And will you not swear your oath that are deemed worthy of so many and great gifts? And will you not keep your oath when you have sworn it? And what oath will you swear? Never to disobey, never to arraign or murmur at aught that comes to you from his hand, never unwillingly to do or suffer aught that necessity lays upon you. Is this oath like theirs? They swear to hold no other dearer than Caesar, you to hold our true selves dearer than all else beside. How shall my brother cease to be wroth with me? Bring him to me, and I will tell him, but to thee I have nothing to say about his anger. When one took counsel of Epictetus, saying, what I seek is this, how even though my brother be not reconciled to me, I may still remain as nature would have me to be, he replied, all great things are slow of growth. Nay, this is true even of a grape or of a fig. If then you say to me, now I desire a fig, I shall answer it needs time. Wait till it first flower, then cast its blossom, then ripen. Whereas when the fruit of the fig tree reaches not maturity suddenly, nor yet in a single hour, do you nevertheless desire so quickly and easily to reap the fruit to the mind of man? Nay, expect it not, even though I bade you. Epaphroditus had a shoemaker whom he sold as being good for nothing. This fellow by some accident was afterwards purchased by one of Caesar's men and became shoemaker to Caesar. You should have seen what respect Epaphroditus paid him then. How does the good Felicion kindly let me know? And if any of us inquired, what is Epaphroditus doing? The answer was, he is consulting about so-and-so with Felicion.
Hey, John.
Hey, Dad, how's it going?
Good. What's up?
Nothing. I'm about to go to the gym in a little bit and then just do some paperwork and some gardening today.
All right. You're living the lifestyles of the rich and the famous.
I see all these suckers walking to the train every day. I was like, you losers, you didn't figure it out? Just talk to your doctor and your lawyer.
My son, the scam artist. Yes.
I'm not getting paid. How am I scamming anybody?
Yeah, you're. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What did you say?
Are you talking to me?
John, did I lose you? Oh, I thought I lost you for a minute. So
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm in the car traveling, so I thought I might have lost you.
Yeah, no worries. What are you doing today?
Nothing. I got to taking Dolly. She has to go for a shot.
Oh, she needs
To
her.
the vet.
What kind of shot is she getting?
Bordetella.
Was
It's
it
a thing
like
where I
worms?
guess it's like they get a respiratory infection.
Huh.
Very expensive having two dogs.
Oh, you have two dogs?
Yeah, we got we got Goldilocks. Goldilocks, the one that always was chasing the ball in the park, go fast. Remember her?
Yeah, I remember her. What was the second dog?
And Dolly, our little Dolly, the Yorkie Maltese, little black one.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, and both of them we have to get haircuts, and they're $60 a piece every month, $120, plus medical and stuff. It's like supporting a child.
Yeah, they're worth it though. It's kind of like a designer toy in many ways.
Yeah.
Because it's a little bit like a robot, but you got to really take care of that thing.
Yeah, they're dependent on you. It's like having a dependent. When I went to visit Earl, he opened the front door, and his little white dog ran away. The dog was totally untrained. And he doesn't walk the dog. He put a little door in to the lanai, so the dog go in now and take a shit on the patio or pee, whatever.
That's technically probably how he raised his kids.
Yeah. So anyway, when the dog took off, I went after the dog. The dog was running around the neighborhood there, but the dog saw me, and I pretended like I had food, and the dog came right up to me.
Yeah.
And I grabbed him. And I see Earl, he's driving around in his car. I said, no, how did you expect to catch the dog driving your car? So I don't know, I was going to drive around until I found the dog.
Yeah, one time when I was at Barton's house one time, I think Earl was backing up out of the driveway and he just slammed right into the neighbor's mailbox across the street and knocked it off the post. And
Oh, really?
yeah, and so he's like, oh shit. He's like, don't say anything. And I was like, yeah, don't say anything. I was like, don't go over there and tell him you're sorry or try to fix it or anything. He's like, yeah, just don't say anything. He's like, they won't know it was me.
It's like when I went to visit a lawyer once when Earl got sued for his product that did $150,000 damage to somebody's house.
Uh-huh.
This toilet thing, this bidet. When I went to the lawyer to see him, he said, I like your brother. He said, but he thinks it's worth nothing.
Yeah. That was the same thing. Barton gave me a 1969 Delta 88 convertible. He gave me the title, and then we drove up to Crystal Lake to see the guy who was working on it. And he told me, he's like, you know, I like your uncle Bart, but he thinks I work for free.
Yeah.
He was getting him to fix a car for free, and he wanted him to buy an insurance policy.
Yeah. Earl still has Illinois plates on his car here in Florida, although he lives here.
Oh, that's because he's got the garage to protect his ass.
No, actually, I don't know. When I went there, the car was actually outside.
Oh, he doesn't even park in the garage?
I don't know, it's probably a hoarder, maybe, that's shit in the garage. I don't know.
Oh my
He
gosh.
looks like a hoarder. He looks like a hoarder.
Like, how does he still have his hair? That's what I don't understand.
He doesn't wash it.
So it just sits there permanently? It never moves? Does it grow?
I don't know. I guess it grows. I don't know. He's very dirty looking. I mean, his hair looks like it's really dirty. But I heard he doesn't even wash or touch his hair.
Ugh.
But yeah, it's all genetics, I guess.
What is wrong? He must have a mental health problem. He must, because the brain must not be firing. I mean, to live your life like that, it's disgusting.
Well, he got kind of angry with me because I told him one. He likes to. What he does is he was texting me or emailing me, texting me basically, and he likes to get into these discussions and arguments and controversies. And he likes to have like a debate. And I said, Earl, I don't need it. I'm not here to. I don't have to debate anybody. I said, you can have your views, I have mine, but it's a waste of time. You're not going to convince me, and I'm not going to convince you. So why bother?
Yeah, he just doesn't get
Then
it.
I told him, Earl, I said, life isn't just sitting at your kitchen table with your cell phone on a stand. I said, you should get dressed, put on your best clothes, take a shave, clean up, love, meet people, have a life. He said, you don't know what you're talking about. He wrote me back. So I haven't heard from him since. I guess.
Well, I don't know. That honestly, maybe he never grew up or something. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Hey, look, I can't explain people. I'm sure I have my own idiosyncrasies, I'm sure. So we all do.
Well, the thing is, when you know, there's no more argument. There's no more discussion. There is no more debate. So it's like, I thought out of all the people, he'd be the guy who knew that. But that's the thing, when you have a brother, you know, maybe when you're an older brother, you think, you know, there's that special dynamic where you think shit rolls downhill.
I don't know. No, I think he does that with everyone. He loves to debate. I remember one time he was sitting at a kitchen table with Sima when my grandmother was still alive, and he was telling Sima how he knows how the economy works, and she doesn't know anything about the economy and financing. He said, I know, I understand it, I do it. So I said, Earl, Earl, if you understand it, so how come you didn't make any money?
Yeah.
If you understand it so well, how come you didn't make a fortune?
Do you remember one time you told me you were like, ask Uncle Mark about the third law of thermodynamics? And like he knew it right off the top of his head, and you were like, holy shit.
Yeah. Oh, Mark Rich?
Yeah, you told me to ask him because you had like some popular mechanics magazine, and you were like, let's see how smart Mark really is. And you said, ask him what the third rule of thermodynamics are, and like he knew the answer. And you were really surprised. You were like, holy shit.
One time, Mark I was with my friend Fred Quintari at the time. I was in their house in Georgia, and Mark was talking about how the Earth, the continental shelf shifted.
Uh-huh.
he said, yeah, it shifted over here. You could see how Africa was connected once to South America. It looked like a puzzle.
Yeah.
You're together. So Scott Fred said, yeah, he says, I knew that already. He said, how'd you know? He said, I read in the Bible, Earth parted.
He said, I read it in the Bible, what?
You read in the Bible that the earth parted. It was so funny.
That is funny.
And then he asked us to move a television, the console TV. And when he moved it, something fell out of the TV, like from the inside. And it looked like a little crown. And Mark said to this guy, Fred, what the hell is that? And this guy, Fred, said, obviously, from the king too. Those TVs at the time had tubes.
Yeah, tubes. Yeah, that's funny. Oh, didn't that guy Frank Atari die in a church shooting or something?
His wife did. His wife got some guy. He was in a church in Wisconsin. Some guy came in there, killed his wife, and shot like 2 or 3 other people.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Then he got remarried, I think, and his ex-wife, I think she died of cancer.
Oh, yeah.
Later on. Yeah. I saw him a few years ago. I didn't say anything, but I saw him. He was as big as a house. He weighed like 300 pounds.
Oh, I saw a friend of mine on the street in the Gold Coast. He was so obese, I couldn't believe it. I was just like, I was in shock. I didn't know what to say to him.
Yeah.
It was very sad.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. You know, sometimes people, sometimes you can't recognize them. The guy said, yeah, that's why I hate to go to reunions, because I see people and I just think, how ugly these people are. Then I finally look in the mirror.
It's true. It's true.
There's a guy, I forgot his name. I was watching him. He's a comedian, but he's very clean. There's nothing dirty, but he's pretty funny. He said, remember when COVID happened? He said, the first time I put on my mask, I said, Jesus, my breath smelled like that. He said, I owe a lot of people an apology. That was so funny.
Yeah, so I can't believe it. Some people do not floss their teeth. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, some people don't brush their teeth. Some people don't brush their teeth. Hey, I was just talking to David Bramasco. Remember David Bramasco?
Yeah.
He was a church guy?
Yeah.
Well, I talked to him. He left the church. He doesn't go to church anymore, but I talked to him just yesterday, and he told me that, and I know he had glaucoma.
Yeah.
When you have glaucoma, you have to take drops every day to
Wow.
keep your eye pressure down. Otherwise, you'll damage your eye, which is a good reason you should get an eye exam every year, John, just in case
Yeah, yeah.
you forget.
I can get those.
And a place to go. I don't know if you don't have a church, but the Northwestern Eye Clinic is renowned, I guess, in your
Oh, really?
area.
I have insurance.
Anyway.
I have insurance.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, anyway, get your eyes checked once a year. But anyway, he told me, well, COVID happened, he couldn't get his prescription filled for like 6 months. I said, are you crazy? He said, yeah, I called the doctor, and they said they weren't taking any patients. I said, you got to take that every day. He said, yeah, it damaged my eyes so much I can't drive now.
Oh my God.
And I said, you went for almost 6 months? Yeah, and when I finally talked to the doctor, he said, what are you talking about? I gave you a prescription for over a year.
Oh,
You should
fuck.
just call me and said, you want the prescription? So
Oh my God. Oy vey.
this is how dumb how I can't believe it.
Oh boy. That's sad.
Yeah.
Nice. You know, that's the thing, is a really nice guy, but I mean, if your brain can't figure some shit out, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah. I mean, that's, knowing that, you have to put drops in your eye every day. Now, Patty has glaucoma, and she had some damage, but she has to take, the specialist said, you take these drops every day. Do not miss a day.
Mm-hmm.
You got to keep your eye pressure down.
Yeah.
That's what it does.
Is it a steroid or what is it?
I don't know. It's a drop you put in once a day at nighttime before you go to bed. And it reduces the pressure in the eye somehow. I don't know.
It's kind of interesting to think that your eyes are connected to your brain. So in many ways, your eyes are like an extension of your brain.
Yeah. Now, that's what always, sometimes when I look back, John, I figure how stupid I was to ever think there wasn't a God, that somebody had to create this design. It couldn't happen by itself.
I know, but that's like natural. You have to eventually try to like imagine that that this is all just, random. Or the thing is, people who believe in Darwin and whatnot, I don't know. There's still no real explanation. So, it's one of those things where it is one of those.
It's
It's one of the most important things to think about in your life.
Did you know that your eyes, through your eyes, you actually see upside down and your brain twisted?
Yeah, it's like an inversion.
Yeah, it's amazing. The whole thing is just, it couldn't have happened by accident. Somebody had a design. The designer wrote, Mr. Carter said, the designer always requires a designer. There's no way around it.
Well, there's a deity for sure. That's the interesting thing is, if you pray, if you pray out loud or you pray, and you really are sincere, it's possible that God hears you, which is one of those, you can call me crazy if you want, and say that I talk to God, but, you gotta, it just depends on what you want to do in your life. What are your goals, your objectives? What problem are you trying to solve? And, if you believe there's a God, God can help you achieve what you want to achieve in life. So that's like the good news for these young people who are kind of mixed up in atheism and agnosticism, and they don't really have any strength or courage or faith or wisdom to guide them. The youth today is, I thank God you had those Garner Ted Armstrong books in the basement. Um,
I was going to say, I just heard on the news 100 people were shot in Chicago over the weekend.
Oh, it's insane. It's so dangerous. People don't want to leave their house at night because they're afraid they're going to get robbed or shot.
Yeah, I heard Michigan Avenue is closes at 5 o'clock now. It's dead.
Oh yeah, there's roving gangs. They come from the south side, they strike and they flee. When I was in Hermosa Beach, California, they were having a huge problem every single Friday, Saturday night with 500 people gathering when the bars would let out. So they bought one of those watchtowers, and so they control the situation with a watchtower, and there's no way to get in and out. So they would target people for DUIs. They would target the people who start the fights. There's no real intelligence at the police department in terms of they don't have permanent watchtowers. They in these hot districts, they need to put permanent mobile watchtowers with employees, monitoring and give them sniper rifles.
It's not likely to happen. You can't shoot anybody. Nobody wants to shoot anybody because they know you'll be indicted.
I know, but can you imagine? Can you imagine if your neighborhood is completely controlled by, narco-terrorist gang members, and you're a little old lady, you live in fear, you paid your taxes your whole life, no politician's going to do anything? That's the thing. It's until an actual politician and the police department form a partnership and they're willing to take on the legal consequences of gunning down these gang members.
They're not going to. Look, half those politicians were probably gang members before they even became.
I know
the
that
city council.
The current mayor. Yesterday he had an LGBTQ South Side party, and then today he threw himself another party with his high school. That the guy is just throwing parties, every weekend. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. That's what happened. There was a lieutenant. The police department, I remember this must be over 25 years ago. I was sitting there with Jack Lottie. He said, let me tell you something. He said, when the black people get in charge of the judicial system, it will be over.
Yeah.
It will be over. There's nothing, the criminals will be running the country. That nobody will want to do anything.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to go up to the vet's office, John.
Anyways, carry some duct tape with you and some earplugs.
Why's that?
So you can shut up and you can plug your ears when other people won't shut up. I'm just saying that there's so much toxicity out there that when you listen to people complaining or crying or kvetching, it's
Listen, I have Sirius satellite radio in my car. I have a subscription, which I like because I can actually play it in the house. I have we have speakers all around the house, like a sound system, and it connects to Alexa, and Alexa can connect to Sirius satellite radio. So I play. There's a channel called. It's called. Hold on one second. Let's see. I forgot the name of it. Anyway, it's called Escape. They just play beautiful music, soft, beautiful music.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
so relaxing.
I know. That's the
play it in
thing.
my
Yeah.
car.
Exactly. Because politics can become just toxic content. Like music really is the
That's
way
all
to
it
kind of
is.
set yourself free.
Yeah, I know you can't listen to it too much. You go nuts listening to it. I mean, I don't listen to the news 24 hours because you go crazy.
Yeah.
You go crazy with
You
it.
you know what I got is
You know
what I got is these little. There was a church store near my old apartment, and I bought these little 3x5 note cards, and they have all these scriptural verses. So I just read through that every day, and it's like reading the Bible on steroids because it's the best verses. So it just it fills you with confidence and joy.
I remember that Garner Ted once said, they have in the hotels they used to have the Gideon Bible.
Yeah.
In all the hotels, in every hotel. He said he always wondered how many people might have picked up Psalms.
Yeah.
And who might have contemplated suicide. It helped people understand.
Well, not just, I mean, it saved them from suicide, but it saved them from loneliness and depression because, it's amazing how a book is basically an external hard drive.
Yeah.
And, you can put that book inside of you, and when you do, you're taking the most powerful wisdom and putting it in your mind. And people don't do that. They just watch television and look at their cell phone all day long. That's why that's why I worry about, Samantha and her fiance. Because, I said to his, they don't read the good news. They just living a materialistic lifestyle. Oh, I'm going fishing. Oh, I bought a new car, this and that. It's like, okay, you guys could slow it down and try to appreciate what you have. You guys are, chasing something. There's nothing to chase. Be happy now. Be happy with your relationship. Work on your education.
I remember when I used to work for this guy, one of Patty's clients. He was that wealthy guy, really wealthy. He had 2 jets. He had a helicopter.
Yeah.
3 hangars in Waukegan. He died, and a very unhappy guy. But one time he had 5 dogs, 5 beautiful dogs. And I remember we got a new dog. I said, I put a bell by the door. I'm trying to train the dog. And when he wants to go out to ring the bell, he gave me the funniest look. He said, good luck with that. It never did work. Just the way he looked at me and said, good luck with that. So when you tell people certain things, John, I say it. When I tell things, I think of that guy's face looking at me, good luck with that. Like they're really going to listen. It's too funny. All right, John, well, be safe.
Okay, you too. God bless. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Okay,
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Hello. Please state your name after the tone, and Google Voice will try to connect you.
Persian booty hole. Hey, do you want to call Daniela?
Hello?
Just send me $400.
Sure.
All right, cash at me $400, and then I'll conference call Daniela in for you, so you can all your
Hell
fantasies.
no, man.
All your fantasies can come true.
$1, man.
Your obsessions can come true. Maybe you can make her. Maybe you can fuck her in the booty hole, and we can become Eskimo brothers.
Obsession, bro. I can't go there because you've already been there. It'd be too weird.
That's right. Booty hole Eskimo brothers.
That's the problem. That's the problem. Like,
That's
after
right.
doing that, like, she was painted. Nobody wanted her after that.
Oh, damn. Oh, if you told her that.
The truth. The truth hurts.
Oh, shit. Oh, she'd hate
She's probably
you.
recording me.
She'd hate you. She'd never want to talk to you again if she knew that you thought about her that way.
Dude, come on, man. You told that to everybody. That was the funniest part. You was like,
fuck it. Like, who cares, you know? It's like, fuck these putas. They're all putas, man. She's one of the worst ones. You know how many guys she has probably milked and hardcore milked them, you know? And she complains, oh, these guys leave me. And it's like, bitch, it's like, you just looking for a free meal 7 days a week. Fuck you.
That's everybody, though, man. That's nothing exclusive.
Yeah, but she should have gotten married to some Jewish guy like her sister. Instead, she's got a fucking ego. She thinks she's hot shit, but she don't know that she's gonna die and get ugly, just like everybody else. And she knows that she just doesn't understand time. Time is cruel, you know, and it gets more cruel.
How's it going with you and your lawsuit? Have they taken your house yet?
No, I'm sitting here in my office, picking my toes, drinking some wine, smoking some weed, trolling people.
Trolling. That's your specialty.
It's a little bit like dirty work.
That was the best part. That's like when my friend went to go see Louis in Orange County, and I was like, remember that guy John Kitover? I was like, I talked to him. Like, dude, that guy's crazy, man. He threw a brick through Louis' window. I'm like, through the window? He's like, no, like through like a window in the door.
Yeah.
Don't call me, I'll call you.
Yeah, that's what he told me. I was like, he hung up on me. He's like, don't call me, I'll call you.
All right, I gotta. Bye.
Peace.
John.
Happy birthday, Sultana.
Thanks, John. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I just want to give you your birthday gift. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Just repeat after me. The more you think...
John.
I'm serious. This is your birthday present. Go ahead. Repeat after me. The more you think... Say it after me. This is your meditation. The more you think...
The more you think.
The more you speak...
The more you speak.
The further from the truth...
The further from the truth.
You gonna get. Happy birthday.
I see.
If you remember that, you'll know that when you start thinking and speaking, you've already lost. You're a loser. You're fired.
That's not a very positive way to start the day, Josh.
I just gave you a little secret tidbit, deep psychological, philosophical perspective, and not many people have ever said what you just said, so consider it a very valuable birthday gift.
I see. Okay. Well, what are you doing today?
I'm going to the gym, doing some paperwork, then I'm going sailing on my yacht.
Very nice. Very nice. How'd it go with all the ladies that you had out there?
Some hits, some misses, you know. Everything is good, everything is gravy. You know, that's the thing, it's like, you think you can get sad because you're like, oh, this girl doesn't text me back, and you're like, ugh, blessing in disguise. Let me enjoy my life.
Yeah, I know. Did they come, though? Did they come?
Ugh, every broke girl who comes on my boat, I try to get her to come, but not every girl wants to come.
I know.
I gotta go. I gotta have an early morning tomorrow. I gotta go. It's been so much fun, John. Thank you for everything. I gotta go. No. I gotta go.
Yeah. Sounds pretty typical.
It's just birds and bees, Danielle. It's a dance, you know, and the more joyfully you dance, the more joyfully your partner is going to dance.
Well, you gotta woo the girl though. You gotta woo her. Are you wooing her?
If you're not happy, Daniela, you can't woo anybody. You got to be happy. That's the birthday secret surprise. That's the hidden cream, the hidden strawberry in that cake. It's called joy. Joy now.
Yeah. You gotta be happy.
All right, well, happy birthday. Have a great day. And, you know, eat an extra piece of cake and don't worry because I like it. I like that ass fat.
I know. I'm on a diet. I know.
Stop dieting.
I know.
You're too thin. You're too strong. Your body, man. You know, men want that ass. The only way to get that ass is to put on 20 pounds on that ass.
I know.
Protein and squats, girl. And then a milkshake.
Oh, well. I know, Johnny John. I'm not as lean and mean as I usually am by my birthday, but I'm getting there.
Treat yourself. You deserve it.
So how's boating season going this year? For real.
It's fine.
It's fun.
It's fine.
Have you been out to the pit pen?
Playpen.
Playpen? It's a good name, actually.
Yeah, baby, I'm at the playpen every day whether I'm there or not. Who cares? What's the difference? I don't have a power boat. You know, those are people who go tie up their fucking $120,000 boats. I have a $2,000 sailboat. You know, just to sail there is like very difficult. It takes forever.
So you don't go, you just stay at the dock?
I just hang out at where I'm at is the best part anyways. It's the most developed area of the whole part of Chicago. So it's like there's no reason to even leave. I'm already at the playpen.
So you just stay at the dock. You don't sail your boat.
No, my boat is a fuck boat.
John.
It's a birthday surprise suit. It's a birthday suit boat, baby. It's meant for love. It's the love ship.
So you try to bring girls out there, and then you just expect them to fuck you just for bringing them there?
Of course I don't expect anything. I'm just literally trying to enjoy my day. Like if a girl and I click and we just, you know, we make love, it was totally mutual and, you know, joyful. It's not like I'm bringing people onto a slave ship to be my sex slave in my $2,000 shit boat. We're having fun. We're at the beach. We're going on a power walk in the forest preserve. We're laying out in the sun. We're playing in the water. We have a delicious meal. And if we go back to my boat, we happen to make love. Well, ribono shaloilo, mazel tov. Be fruitful and multiply.
I'm just saying, you gotta woo the woman. You gotta woo her in. You gotta woo her in.
I can sing a song, sweetheart. You haven't come to Chicago yet. You should come this weekend. You want me to fly you out here? You should get your dogs a hotel and I'll fly you here.
I know, that's the problem. I need to get a freaking babysitter for each one of them. I'll just put them up for adoption for the babysitter.
I keep telling, why don't you let me create a business? It'll be called SeattleDogWalkers.com, and we'll scam everybody to take your dog for free as a job interview, and you'll never have to pay for a dog shelter ever again. Oh, you want the job? Okay, here's your first job. This is what you're getting paid. This is how long, and they'll be like, well, that's not a lot of money. I'd be like, this is your first time working with us. We got to find out how good you are.
I know, the dogs are really a lot of work right now. A lot of work. I spent like, this weekend I told you. Last weekend we went to.
You dropped 10 grand a year on these fucking dogs, easy.
Yeah, I spent a lot of money. And it's sometimes it's really a lot of work. Like right now, it's really a lot of work. And the freaking shedding, man. I had spent 2.5 hours yesterday cleaning my car. So right now I just want a break, but yeah. Anyway,
Well,
tired.
I promise if you come to Chicago, I mean, I will get you your ticket, your round trip ticket, and I'll pay for everything when you're here. But you know, you'll have a great time. If you come here, you're gonna love it. It might be the only time you ever come to Chicago and have it ever. You know, and I promise you, I'm gonna take you to the best places. You're gonna have the best time if you come here.
Thanks, Sean. I might come, but I can't come right now.
Well,
I
you
might
gotta
later.
come. Well, it's over after Thanksgiving. Like Chicago shuts down after Thanksgiving. It's done. So it's like
It's too cold.
it's just too cold. Yep.
I know, but like right now, is it humid?
It changes, but right now is the best part of the year. July, August, September. It doesn't get any better.
I know, but it's humid, right? It's like humid heat.
It changes. It's humid, then it's not humid, and it's just beautiful. Like it honestly, it is so perfect. It's just right now is an amazing day. It's 79 degrees outside right now and partly cloudy.
You should get paddleboards.
I do. I have two stand-up. Daniela, I have everything. Okay, I'm not a multi-millionaire, but I have everything that a multi-millionaire would want. I've got everything. I got two of everything.
I know. I'm saying, can you with the paddleboards? Can you paddle out to the tie-up?
No, the tie-up is too far to paddleboard all the way out
too
there.
far?
I guess you could, but damn, you gotta be strong as a motherfucker.
I thought you got the motor fixed. What happened to that?
The motor works, but I'm just telling you that like it
You
doesn't.
just don't know how to sail it. Is that what it is?
Well, I don't know how to personally say. I'm not confident. If I took that bitch out there, I'd be calling somebody, being like, "Help, help, come and help. Where's the Coast Guard? Help us, we're fucked." I mean, I only took it out once with a professional sailor who drives around like a huge yacht, you know, and he knew exactly what he was doing. So
How was that?
it worked out fine, but it still wasn't like, it's not luxury, baby. It's a $2,000 shit boat.
Doesn't matter. It's still a sailboat. You don't need a motor.
Listen, when you're going, you know, a half of a knot and you're barely moving and you're like, Jesus Christ, this is going to take 3 hours to get back. You're like, fuck this. Next time I'll party at the restaurant. Because it's basically a country club type of setup, you know. It's the giant beach, it's 2 restaurants, it's a bar. Like it's like being at a resort. There's no fucking reason to ever move my stupid boat. I need to find friends that have, you know, $1 million yachts that are tying up, and I know girls that say, oh, I know, you know, because I bring people on my shitty boat and they're like, oh, I know people that have mega yachts, like I'll take you out on these mega yachts, and I'm like, okay, great. But then when people move their lips, they're generally lying. I don't expect an invite anytime soon on some billionaire's yacht from some pretty girl. So yeah, I'm just telling you, Daniela, life is gravy, but you know, you gotta.
I know what?
You can't have stress.
One time in LA, I told Sherry, I was like, let's go like hang out at the marina and like go catch a ride on a yacht. And so she came with me. And so we're hanging out down there. I'm like, you know, scouting people as they're like, you know, carrying boxes of beer to their boat. And then I said something to some guy. I'm like, oh, you know, you need 2 cute lady skipper hands or something. I don't know what I said. And the guy says, sure, you want to come out?
Plastic.
So dirty. They were so dirty. I can't even want to dust in them.
Ugh.
And it was just like the whole thing was so funny. And then he powered us around in this like little, like a Boston whaler is basically like a dinghy to a yacht, you know? And so we like cruised around the marina, which is actually a big marina. That was in Marina Del Rey. It was just so funny. He was a really nice guy. He was like an older guy. It was just like, it was so funny, but it was just not exactly the way I thought the day would go. I was like, oh, like two cute, pretty girls, you know? Like, I'm sure we can catch a ride on the yacht. We wanted to spend the day on the water, you know? Super funny. Super funny. But, yeah, I haven't even put my boat in the water yet this year. I only went boating once. And, I don't know, like, it's with the same tie-up with the same people, it kind of gets old, to be honest. You know, I've been doing it for a while, and so, like, Saturday, there was a big birthday. I mean, I was out of town, you know, but, I wasn't really into just doing that. It's like, I mean, the first part of the day is okay, but especially if you're not drinking, and like I said, I'm kind of trying to be on a diet too, so I'm watching my intake. So, but you know, it gets really shitty. There's a lot of drugs out there, and just the same shit show doesn't like do anything for me. It seems like such a waste of time.
Well, that's the thing about variety. You know, when I lived in Hermosa Beach, there were times where I'd be like jogging on the boardwalk and there'd be like nobody there, and I'd get the feeling like, fuck. I was like, you know, I'm not gonna miss this when I leave, because it's like the same thing every day. You know, it's awesome, but when there's a bunch of people like on a Friday and a Saturday, that's when it's really awesome. But like your typical Monday through Friday, you know, 10 a.m., it's like a ghost town. So it's you pay a lot to live at the beach, and the joy is like going to the beach, not necessarily living at the beach. Like that transition is what kind of makes life, you know, beautiful. Yeah.
I know, and so like this weekend I was trying to get down to Arizona, but I don't think it's gonna happen because I have my girl, my bitch, she's in heat, and the boys are going crazy, and like my parents offered to take care of one dog, but like not all three, and I haven't really like made arrangements, you know, to have like a house sitter, and it's not just a house sitter, like somebody has to like get to know the dogs. My dogs are like smart dogs, but like, you know, it's not for the average Joe, so it has to be like built a relationship with somebody who's watching them, and you know, they're not just the easiest dogs just to like, you know, it's not just watching. Anyway, it just, I don't think I can go, but I wanted to go down there and look at property because I was thinking maybe I'd invest down there in Arizona.
What are you talking about? Just download the Redfin app or Zillow app, punch in the zip codes you want, sort by price, and just spend a couple hours on your phone taking screenshots, and that's all the research you need to do.
Yeah, I know, but I have never even been down there. I want to go check out the areas and whatnot. But also, my friends from San Diego are coming, and there's like an Israeli fighter fighting. Like, you know, there's like a fight going on, so I thought that would be fun to watch. So we're gonna get tickets to the fight and like do that. I'm not even just like 100% sure I'm gonna like it down there because, you know, it's desert, but there's no water, so it's kind of, I don't know if I would like that.
Well, the big thing to do is like, you know, just do an Airbnb in the neighborhood or like the area that you think you want to buy in, and just experience it, and then go home, and then you'll have a totally different feeling. This is the problem, you know, with people that buy real estate on the fly. Like, you can experience it without buying it because of Airbnb.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I wanted to get to know the areas, and like, but I don't think it's that cheap, and also, I think to be able to rent it, apparently the market is very saturated with rentals, so it might not be that easy to rent it. And like I want to buy like a nice house, something that's like, you know, nice. But again, I don't even know if I would like it because there's no water, and I really need to be like close to water. That's kind of weird not to like be like. I think that there's lakes in Arizona, but they're not.
Yeah, but if you live in Arizona, you often go to Vegas, and then you go to that Lake Havasu, or you just go to the pools in Vegas.
Right. Right, Lake Havasu, which I've been there once, and that was fun. I don't know how far Lake Havasu is from Scottsdale.
It's like 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, it's kind of far. It's kind of far.
Because I
So
used
you
to
need
drive
like,
there from southern Arizona. Because I used to live in Scottsdale, and I
you
used to
did?
live I used to live in Tucson as well, and I got to know those areas very well.
So it's Havasu, and then what other lakes are around there?
There's other ones. I can't think of the names off the top of my head.
But they're all kind of far.
I don't know. You could figure all this out by doing some Google searches very easily.
Yeah, I know. It's just like you're not like right at the lake that you can. I mean, like Seattle. That's one thing that's nice about Seattle. That the lake. But so even in the winter, I walk along the lake. And then in Mexico, I obviously have the beach. So there's that. And then in California, you have the beach. So the beach is very calming.
Newport. When my uncle went from Tampa to Los Angeles, and we were hanging out at my sister's place, my uncle looked around. He's like, "Oh my God, I get it." He's like, "The weather here is the best weather in the world."
Yeah, Newport's amazing too.
Yeah.
I know. And California is probably much cheaper now because everybody's it's so shitty,
No, it's still expensive, but God, could you imagine living downtown and there's like 30 homeless people living in front of your, $900,000 condo, and you're paying these crazy assessments? Ugh.
I know, but I know. So, I know. And then City of Los Angeles bought from a developer a brand new skyrise building, high rise, and they are putting with amenities and everything, like a gym and all that inside the building, and they're putting homeless in there, like giving them $600,000 units for free to live there.
I'm telling you, you've got to, it's not just like politics, it really is mental health. There's like really fucking retarded, really sick, depressed, angry, toxic motherfuckers out there, and they're always Democrats. I don't know why, but they always seem to be a Democrat.
I know. That's true, huh? That's true. So.
Yeah, but they say that historically, leading up until elections, there's always an escalation of violence. So, like, I would expect that this summer is going to have, like, a lot of violence. Like, Chicago last weekend, 100 people got killed. On 4th of July weekend, 100 people got blown away. Yeah, there were 3 mass shooting incidents.
In Chicago?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's going to get more toxic and crazy because in August, the Democratic National Convention is downtown Chicago, August 23rd.
Oh.
So it's going to be like it's going to be like a civil war in this city. It's going to be crazy.
Wow. Is Chicago like a swing state?
No, it is hardcore Democrat. It's historically 100 years been a Democrat city.
Wow. I know, that's the thing. That's the one thing I was like, oh, Arizona I would like because it's still driving distance to isn't it not too far from like Utah and the national parks there?
We have members in our city council that wear keffiyehs, they wear Palestinian flags, and they burn Israeli flags at like Jew hate events. That's how hardcore Democrat these pieces of shit are in this city.
I know, that's why I was thinking Arizona I might like it because it's like a red state. But I don't think it's all red. I think it depends. Because then you have Austin. No, that's Texas.
Texas is really the place to go. You would love where my friend lives. It's called Steiner Ranch, and it's called Lake Austin, but it's really a river, and it's like a rainforest. It literally feels like a rainforest. There's something special about it.
Well, there's a hurricane blowing in right now.
I mean, even Seattle though, you're kind of accommodated to this like rainforest ecosystem because Seattle is like based off of like this like rainforest type system or whatever.
Yeah, I think the three states I would like would be possibly Colorado, because you get a lot of sun in Colorado. It's beautiful.
300 days of sun.
What?
You get 300 days of sun on average in Colorado.
I know, so that's really nice, but it's cold. So that's the thing.
No, but that's the thing is you don't need heat. What you need is light. And because you get more light, your health actually goes up.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Colorado is one state I could live in. And I think Arizona and Texas, probably parts of Texas.
But how could you technically live away? Like, I mean, because you're kind of like, you have tenants and shit. That's one of those things. It's like you leave. What are you going to do? Fly back?
I know. I think anywhere I would possibly move to. I mean, I'm obviously still gonna have ties in Seattle, so I would still spend some time in Seattle. But
So
I just like
this is if I could give you. Let me give you one more birthday gift. Okay, this is what you do. You get yourself a $50 burner phone, and when you go to that town or city that you think you want to move in, set up a burner phone and create a dating profile on all the major dating apps, and create an Instagram called, Chosen Denver Real Estate. And but start your journey from home back in Seattle and gradually work your way into that city through Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, etc. And recreate yourself on a burner phone in the city that you want to move to, but don't actually move there until your burner phone is actually kind of creating a social network for you in that city.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's a lot of work, though.
It's not. You think it's a lot of work, but you're on your phone all day long anyways.
Yeah, but I'm saying it takes a lot of time because it takes time
Yeah, but the problem is if you're going to move there, you're going to do it anyways.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's like putting the carrot before the cart, or at least getting some shit started, because what you need to do is be a scientist and do some field testing and figure out, okay, is this the right move? Because a lot of this is in your head. You see what I'm saying? You're fantasizing, you're projecting the future. But what you need to do is be like a scientist and do analysis of your thoughts and feelings. Cell phone is the best way to do that.
I know. I don't think I would like anywhere on the East Coast.
You would love South Beach. You would love South Beach if you had a fucking $1.2 million condo and a dope ass penthouse in South Beach.
Miami?
Oh fuck yeah.
South Beach is pretty ghetto. Have you spent time down there?
I'm just saying Miami in general, because everybody's moving to Wynwood, but ghetto is everywhere. Ghetto is the culture, and you're just talking about Schwartz.
And I mean, also, I have no Jewish community here in Seattle. It's annoying.
Miami has probably the most vibrant Jewish community in the whole country.
Yeah, but you have to be Latina to live there. You have to be.
Girl, people don't know where you're from. They. Are you kidding me? If you go around, where do you think I'm from? You're gonna get 10 different responses. You are completely unpinnable. This is the funny thing about Israelis, because most people are they've never left their bubble. And so I know this one guy from Israel, and I was like, where do people think you're from? He goes, I get everything. They think I am from France. They think I am from Germany. They think, people have no idea that he's Israeli.
Yeah.
He lives in Texas. His name is Shuki. He's got a big family. He's got a big farm. He drives a truck. He's got horses.
How come you don't want to do a trip to Scottsdale? It'll be fun.
Sweetheart, until I go anywhere with you, your fat ass is coming to Chicago.
I would come. I'd come to Chicago, John.
I mean, we've been friends for how long? Since 2022. We've been friends 22 fucking years. I've never been to Seattle. You've never been to Chicago. I mean, if you want to do something, let's do something. It's now's the time to do it.
I can't. I have to wait till my dog's out of heat.
Baby, there's these things called dog hotels. Spend the money, I'll pay for it, and just get your fat ass to Chicago.
Chicago. What's the name of the water there that you have there? Is that the Lake Michigan?
It's the biggest natural lake on the fucking planet.
Lake Michigan, right?
It's the biggest on the planet. And it looks like a giant dick.
Okay, John. Well, we'll talk about it. I'll figure it out. I'd like to come sometime. I would. Be nice, because you've been inviting me for a long time.
It's a
How long is
perfect.
the flight?
Now is the time to do it because I'm not working. You know, I'm on sick leave, so now is the time to come and enjoy. Because it doesn't get better than right now. I gotta tell you, I know this city very well. Now is the time to come. July is going to be the best month of the entire year because August is going to suck.
Well, I can't come this second, but I'll try to come.
Sweetheart, I'll get you your ticket. Fly in on Shabbos on Friday. I'll pick you up at the airport on Friday at 8 p.m. and then fly back to Seattle on Monday at 8 a.m. Just spend the weekend here.
Are we going to do Shabbat?
Of course.
Nice. I want to do Shabbat.
We can go to the Chabad or we can do it at my house.
I haven't done Shabbat in a long time. I want to learn to... I want to enjoy Shabbat.
Ugh, when I was dating this Jewish girl here that I really wanted to marry and have kids with, I was in love with her, and we did Shabbat at her house like pretty regularly, and she had a big group of friends, and it was just the most joy. But this is what pissed me off. She invited a guy that she used to date and fuck, and I was like, how could you invite a guy that you used to date, you know, to Shabbos? Like or even to like, you know, I was like, at that point I was like, okay. I was like, I kind of hate this chick. I was like, this is like, she's like, you know, well, I guess it was basically, I could tell that she wasn't really that interested in like marrying me, I guess, or who knows. It doesn't make a difference, but what I'm saying is Shabbos is like, ugh, if you have a family, oh my God, I feel bad for people that don't do Shabbos because they have no idea what they're missing out on.
It's true. Yeah, you should. I know. Shabbat is really special. I follow a couple of these ladies on Instagram, and they show like what they're cooking for Shabbat and stuff, and it's so beautiful. It really is. It's so beautiful, you know. How she's like cooking with different stuff and.
Shabbos. So in Kabbalah, it's called the Shekhinah, which is basically the female deity or the female aspect of Hashem. It's the angel supposedly that wrestled with Jacob, and when Jacob didn't yield, the angel said, "Your name is Israel." So what you're really doing is on Shabbos when you light those candles and you stop working, you are trying to connect and create a unity or a union with what's called Shekhinah, which is the feminine perspective, essentially. It's like chill. It's like get your nails done, relax, enjoy your family, enjoy what you got. Seal yourself off from the rest of the world and be here now, be here now, be here now. That's the whole thing. It's like turn your phone off and live in the luxury and the joy of the Garden of Eden now. You can do it once a week. It's like getting a free trip to the Garden of Eden once a week. And then you got to get back out of the garden and go keep working to sustain the garden.
Yeah. No, it's really nice. It really is nice. I was at this barbecue I was invited to, like, not this last weekend, the weekend before. And it's like a big, like, hiking group of people. And so the host is an Israeli guy. And so, you know, we kind of, like, connected online, but, you know, not just because he's Israeli and the war was happening and, you know, and I just knew he was Israeli because of his name. And then my friend Scott is a part of the hiking group, and he previous to that he was dating this girl Misha. So Misha and the Israeli guy, his name is Tamir, were basically co-hosting this barbecue. So I got invited and I went, and I had never met Tamir before, you know, but I went. I knew it was basically going to be a lot of people from their hiking group. And so I get there, and before that, Scott and I are talking because I hadn't talked to Scott in a couple years because like we used to be like friends, but he's like a super cheap guy, so I basically stopped being friends with him because he's damn cheap. We were like in Mexico at the same time, and we went to dinner one night, and like he didn't fucking tip the waiters there, and the waiter like had to say something. And it's just the stuff like that. It was just like, I just can't even be around this guy. But anyway, but he does like fun things. Like he hikes, he boats, he's like super active. He has a boat, and he does like, kind of like.
He literally didn't tip anything on the check?
Like he wasn't even paying for my dinner. I was like paying for my own. Like he's just the fucking cheapest guy in the world. And yeah, the waiter like literally, and it's like fucking, it's Mexico, but like, like, I mean, it's like, so it's already cheaper than the States, And yeah, and the waiter literally had to say something. I was just like so embarrassed. After that, I was like, I don't even want to be around this guy anymore. And he'd always like been hitting on me, but I would never go for him. Anyways, so I got invited to this barbecue, and then so before that, Scott, I was like, oh, Scott, you're gonna be there. It was the first time I talked to him in like 2 years on the phone. So we caught up briefly on the phone, and then he's like, yeah, Misha's gonna be there, and I was like, oh, I know you guys aren't dating anymore, because I had a party a couple years ago for Seafair, and I had invited Scott, and he came with Misha, his girlfriend at the time, so that's how I had met her, and another friend, and I had a big party. It was in the summer. So anyway, so he's like, yeah, she's dating another guy, and he's like, but she asked me to go on a hike last week, and I agreed to go. We went, and we had a good time. Okay, fine. But she's like, yeah, her boyfriend's I'm sure going to be at the barbecue, So anyway, get to the barbecue, and most of the time Tamir was trying to get my attention, he was chatting me up the whole time, and, obviously I'm sure he would have hit on me if I gave him the chance. I was, trying not to. And I talked to Misha briefly. Misha's like a really cute girl. Like she has this piercing blue eyes, huge blue eyes, like that's what stands out about her, and just really sweet. She's always smiley and happy and So she was basically, I'm sure Tamir kind of asked her to invite me, and anyway, so I talked to a couple other people, and then at some point, like I knew who her boyfriend was, but he had never talked to me, right? And I just knew who he was from pictures she had posted on Facebook or whatever. So then after the party, like right away, that boyfriend sends me a friend request on Facebook, and like he hadn't even introduced himself to me, and we didn't even have any conversation at all, zero. So I'm like, oh, that's like pretty shitty, He sends me a friend request on Facebook, and obviously, like, like that's the first step of like kind of hitting on someone, like, and it's just weird because he hadn't even like talked to me at all. Anyway, so then I told Scott about it because I was like, well, because I'm not that close to Misha, but like, I was like, well, maybe if Scott's still hanging out with her, going on a hike. He's like, oh, that's the first time we did a hike in a long time. He's like, she didn't have anyone else to go with, so I went. Anyways, and I was like, well, maybe Scott wants to tell her something, I just think it's kind of shitty. That's my point. So there's two things. So first of all, don't you think it's weird if and I kind of said to her there, I was like, oh, like you went on a hike with Scott, like doesn't your boyfriend get jealous? And she's like, well, he doesn't, because somebody used to date and fuck, right? And she's like, well, he doesn't want to hike, so I said I'm still going to go hiking with my friends, and so anyway, but then Scott didn't want to tell her anything, obviously, the fact that like he friend requested me, which is not like a big deal in itself, but it's like the first step leading to something else, and it's just weird when like he didn't even have a conversation with me, Don't you think?
People are crazy, Daniela, and I'm not saying you're one of them, but there are people even crazier and more stupid than you out there. And like you're just such a beautiful woman that you're like a candle that attracts moths. So, that's the thing is people want to communicate with you and you just got to realize that like they want to fuck you and they want to like, love you and they want to be loved by you, but this is the thing. It's like a lot of people aren't like sincere, and so I don't know. You just have to continue filtering and taking out the weeds because weeds are going to keep sprouting no matter what. I see people pick weeds every day outside in the garden, at my place. I pick weeds too, and I just know that this is basically what we're all really doing every day is de-weeding.
Yeah, that's true. Tell me, is that garden all yours? Or is that like
No,
a pea patch?
it's technically the state and the city pays for some of it, but a church runs it. It's the church, and the woman died 2 years ago, so eventually they're gonna have to find a new successor. It might be me.
But I thought you did have your own garden as well.
I do, yeah.
But that's not it.
It's attached. What's the difference? Because when I list it to sell this place and move the fuck out of Al Capone's crime town and move to South Beach, eventually when I take those photographs, it won't make a fucking difference whether I own it because the photographs tell the tale and that's what brings the buyers in.
Yeah. You really want to move to Miami?
Fuck yeah. I want to get into a Republican state and get the fuck out of Democrat hellhole terrorist town. This is a terrorist town.
I know, but why Miami? Miami's not. I don't think you're gonna like Miami. You know how it was unbearable, the humidity. Last summer when I went, I came from Tel Aviv. I had come from Tel Aviv and my flight routed through Miami, so I was like, oh, cool. I was like, maybe I'll stay a couple days, and I stayed a couple days, and I met up with this guy. And my other friend Avi was there, and just the whole thing. And but oh my God, the humidity! Holy shit! It must have been end of July.
Listen, this is what you do, baby. You have a beautiful 3-bedroom, 3-bath condo. You run down to the beach. You run into the ocean. You go for a swim in that incredible ocean outside the W Hotel. And then you run back to your beautiful condo, take a shower, and lay down in the air conditioning.
I know, it was so unbearable. Like I was walking around this guy's. He was showing me his condo, like the grounds and the amenities, and we were walking around. And you have to like go outside to just from building to building.
Just sweating your ass off.
I literally could not breathe. It was so, and I was coming from Tel Aviv, not Seattle. I was coming from Tel Aviv in the hot heat of the summer. It was heat like, I mean, it was like Dubai heat. Dubai in the summers is unbearably humid and hot.
Listen,
yeah,
we live in the age of air conditioning. I don't understand what you see. This is your problem: is you have complaints about fucking heat. Do you realize that heat is one of the most controllable things, and you're complaining about it? It's an insignificant thing. You'll never be happy as long as you think that the weather means anything. It doesn't mean anything. It's irrelevant. That's not what makes you happy or why it matters where you live. The only thing that matters is the sun. Because wherever you live, the sun will always be there. It's really a question, in my opinion, of culture, politics, opportunity. Florida is the great state of America. That and California, honestly. Those are the two greatest states in this country.
I know, California is an amazing state. California. I think, what about San Diego?
San Diego's also, La Jolla is the tits.
It's just that it's Democrat. That's not fucking Republican.
Believe me, in Southern California, they're mostly all Republicans, even if they say they're Democrats.
Are they?
They're fucking the richest conservative people in the country, and they hate. There's just social do-gooders everywhere. And a lot of them are just frauds because they're running charity scams.
Yeah.
I mean, I really like helping people. You know, like if I ever get married and have kids, I want to join like a church or a synagogue near me because like I actually like helping people, meaning that I know there's a lot of retarded people out there and like I can do good for them, and help them with their stupidity. So it's like, to me that's like one of the fun things about joining a church. It's like, oh, okay, well you're so into your religion, but you're not even cutting your fingernails. Like you're disgusting. You see what I'm saying? Like you can help people with their essentially their religious addiction even because and they're good people, but like you got to figure out what you're going to do with your family because you can't watch Netflix all day long. That's crazy.
Yeah. Birthdays are like a time of reflection, and
You're born every day. That's the secret. It's Groundhog Day. Did you know that?
yeah, it's Groundhog Day.
And you got a good thing
Yeah.
going for you. You have security, you have income, you have savings, you have your health, which is the one thing that everybody really needs and wants. So like you have to basically know that there's going to be weeds that keep popping up in your life, but just you got to be able to detect them as weeds. And you know what you do with weeds? You pluck them up and you throw them in the garbage.
Yeah. My brother just texted me saying happy birthday. We don't even talk.
I typed in Chotzen on Instagram and I followed your sister and your brother. Your brother's got like a great Instagram for his real estate business.
Uri?
Yeah,
Does he? I haven't looked at it.
it's great. He's got like hundreds and hundreds of photos. I'm like, wow, this fucking kid does exactly what Daniela needs to do.
Really?
Yeah, you should fucking have him do your shit.
I think we hired a marketing person to do that stuff.
Well, some of them you can tell like he's worked on it because like he's got a lot of content. It's like, oh shit, that's a lot of content. He's professional.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
On his Instagram?
he looks, it's 100%. You're like, oh shit, that's who I want to work with if you're a buyer. And there's so few looking for buyers agents and shit. It's like, man, this I'd work with that realtor.
Oh, yeah?
He's got great credibility online. Your credibility sucks. Your credibility is I'm an athlete.
I know. What does my Instagram say about me?
That you're a boat hoe.
That I'm a boho?
Yeah, you're not like conservative at all. I mean, you're a total boat hoe.
What do you mean conservative? What does that mean to you?
Like if I look at Uri's Instagram, I know he's conservative. Your Instagram is sexual. You're an Instagram influencing boat hoe. What you are what Mexican calls puta, meaning that you a hoe. And what does the pimp say to his hoes? Keep him coming. I mean, you're Daniela, you're such an awesome person. You got to realize though that like mass communication hypnosis is essentially a front. It's word stuffing. And you can create all these identities online. And your identity is not professional. And if you wanted to, you could make your Instagram private, which is what I would encourage you to do, and then recreate a new one and just have your brother or whatever the marketing firm is recreate you a new one and make it all about real estate and just leave it at that. But keep your shit private because honestly, all this shit is essentially surveillance. And it's called surveillance capital or the security industrial complex. And that's all this really is. It's all hypnosis. And you're being hypnotized. Essentially, you're being reverse hypnotized. And so what that means is that, you're fielding like a lot of incoming communication and you think it's of high value, but the truth is it's just growing weeds in your life. You are not free. Instagram and computers and cell phones, it goes with the word cell. It's a prison cell. It's meant for business communication. It's not meant for personal communication. Only business. It's growing weeds in your life, and that's my birthday gift to you is de-weed your life, go private, and set yourself free. Because it's technically mind controlling you and implanting shit in your brain, and it's all brain control or essentially social media influencing and hypnosis. It's mass communication hypnosis, and you are being hypnotized. So free yourself, go private, and I would encourage you to even defriend everybody and get off of Instagram. It's like a drug. It really is a drug because it does create dopamine feedback loops in your brain. And when you actually look at Instagram, you actually feel better. So that means that your cell phone is a drug delivery mechanism, or essentially a medical device technology, which is technically modifying your brain through words and pictures and videos and sounds. You can't be free unless like you actually go private.
I know, but then it's like it's hard to communicate with people if you're just
It's not.
business.
The point is, you're being surveilled. You need to reverse it and surveil everyone else. You need to become the Mossad agent as opposed to being the surveilled one. Your movements are being tracked. Your tastes are being analyzed. You're allowing yourself to be completely analyzed by your environment. You need to go private and analyze your environment, and you'll be so much happier. You'll be free.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Okay, John, well, I'm going to get to the gym, too.
Okay, God bless. Happy birthday.
Love you. Bye. Thanks for calling.
Happy birthday. Bye.
Bye.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 847873.
If we were as intent upon our own business as the old fellows at Rome are upon what interests them, we too might perhaps accomplish something. I know a man older than I am, now superintendent of the corn market at Rome, and I remember when he passed through this place on his way back from exile, what an account he gave me of his former life, declaring that for future, once home again, his only care should be to pass his remaining years in quiet and tranquility. For how few years have I left, he cried. That, I said, you will not do. But the moment the scent of Rome is in your nostrils, you will forget it all, and if you can but gain admission to court, you will be glad enough to elbow your way in, and thank God for it. Epictetus, he replied, if you ever find me setting as much as 1 foot within the court, think what you will of me. Well, as it was, what did he do ere ever he entered the city? He was met by dispatch from the emperor. He took it and forgot the whole of his resolutions. From that moment he has been piling one thing upon another. I should like to be beside him to remind him of what he said when passing this way, and to add how much better a prophet I am than you. What then? Do I say man is not made for an active life? Far from it, but there is a great difference between other men's occupations and ours. A glance at theirs will make it clear to you. All day long they do nothing but calculate, contrive, consult how to wring their profit out of foodstuffs, farm plots, and the like. Whereas I entreat you to learn what the administration of the world is, and what place a being endowed with reason holds therein, to consider what you are yourself, and wherein your good and evil consists. A man asked me to write to Rome on his behalf who, as most people thought, had met with misfortune, for having been before wealthy and distinguished, he had afterwards lost all and was living here. So I wrote about him in a humble style. He, however, on reading the letter, returned it to me with the words, I asked for your help, not for your pity. No evil has happened unto me. True instruction is this, to learn to wish that each thing should come to pass as it does. And how does it come to pass? As the disposer has disposed it, now he has disposed that there should be summer and winter, and plenty and dearth, and vice and virtue, and all such opposites for the harmony of the whole. Have this thought ever present with thee, when thou losest any outward thing, what thou gainest in its stead, and if this be the more precious, say not I have suffered loss. Concerning the gods, there are who There are who deny the very existence of the Godhead. Others say that it exists, but neither bestows nor concerns itself, nor has forethought for anything. Third party attribute to it existence and forethought, but only for great and heavenly matters, not for anything that is on earth. A fourth party admit things on earth as well as in heaven, but only in general, and not with respect to each individual. A fifth of whom were Ulysses and Socrates, are those that cry, I move not without thy knowledge. Considering all these things, the good and true man submits his judgment to him that administers the universe, even as good citizens to the law of the state. And he that is being instructed should come thus minded, how may I in all things follow the gods, and how may I satisfied with the divine administration, and how may I become free, for he is free for whom all things come to pass according to his will, and whom none can hinder. What then is freedom? Madness? God forbid, for madness and freedom exist not together. But I wish all that I desire to come to pass, and in the manner that I desire. You are mad, you are beside yourself. Know you not that freedom is a glorious thing and of great worth? But that what I desired at random, I should wish at random to come to pass, so far from being noble, may well be exceeding base. You must know that it is no easy thing for a principle to become a man's own, unless each day he maintained it, and hear it maintained, as well as work it out in life. You are impatient and hard to please. If alone you call it solitude, if in the company of men you dub them conspirators and thieves, and find fault with your very parents, children, brothers, and neighbors, whereas when by yourself you should have called it tranquility and freedom, and herein deemed yourself like unto the gods. And when in the company of the many you should not have called it a weirdsome crowd and tumult, but an assembly and a tribunal, and thus accepted all with contentment. What then is the chastisement of those who accept it? Not to be as they are. Is any discontented with being alone? Let him be in solitude. Is any discontented with his parents? Let him be a bad son and lament. Is any discontented with his children? Let him be a bad father. Throw him into prison. What prison? Where he is already, for he is there against his will. And wherever a man is against his will, there to him is a prison. Thus Socrates was not in prison, since he was there with his own consent. Knowing thou what speck thou art in comparison with the universe, that is, with respect to the body, since with respect to reason thou art not inferior to the gods, no less than they. For the greatness of reason is not measured by length or height, but by the resolves of the mind. Place then thy happiness in that wherein thou art equal to the gods. Asked how a man might eat acceptably to the gods, Epictetus replied, if when he eats he can be just, cheerful, equable, temperate, and orderly, can he not thus eat acceptably to the gods? But when you call for warm water, and your slave does not answer, or when he enters brings it lukewarm, or is not even found to be in the house at all, then not to be vexed nor burst with anger, is not that acceptable to the gods? But how can one endure such people? Slave, will you not endure your own brother, that has God to his forefather, even as a son sprung from the same stock, and of the same high descent as yourself? And if you are stationed in a high position, are you therefore forthwith to set up for a tyrant? Remember who you are and whom you rule, that they are by nature your kinsmen, your brothers, the offspring of God. But I paid a price for them, not they for me. Do you see whither you are looking? Down to the earth, to the pie, to the pit, to those despicable laws of the dead? But to the laws of the gods you do not look. When we are invited to a banquet, we take what is set before us, and were one to call upon his host to set fish upon the table or sweet things, he would be deemed absurd. Yet in a word, we ask the gods for what they do not give, and that although they have given us so many things. Asked how a man might convince himself that every single act of this was under the eye of God, Epictetus answered, do you not hold that all things are bound together in one? I do. Well, and do you not hold that things on earth and things in heaven are continuous and in unison with each other? I do. was the reply. Else how should the trees so regularly, as though by God's command, at his bidding flower, at his bidding send forth shoots, bear fruit and ripen it, at his bidding let it fall and shed their leaves, folded up upon themselves lie in quietness and rest? How else as the moon waxes and wanes as the sun approaches and recedes can it be that such vicissitude and alternation is seen in earthly things? If then all things that grow, nay, our own bodies are thus bound up with the whole, is it not this still truer of the souls? And if our souls are bound up and in contact with God as being very parts and fragments plucked from himself, shall he not feel every movement of theirs as though it were his own, and belonging to his own nature? But you say, I cannot comprehend all this at once. Why, who told you that your powers were equal to God's? Yet God hath placed by the side of each a man's own guardian spirit. To the Stoics, the guardian spirit was each man's reason, who is charged to watch over him, a guardian who sleeps nor is deceived. For to what better or more watchful guardian could he have committed each of us? So when you have shut the doors and made a darkness within, remember never to say that you are alone, for you are not alone, but God is within, and your guardian spirit. What light do they need to behold what you do? To this God you also should have sworn allegiance, even as soldiers unto Caesar. They, when their service is hired, swear to hold the life of Caesar dearer than all else. And will you not swear your oath that are deemed worthy of so many and great gifts? And will you not keep your oath when you have sworn it? And what oath will you swear? Never to disobey, never to arraign or murmur at aught that comes to you from his hand, never unwillingly to do or suffer aught that necessity lays upon you. Is this oath like theirs? They swear to hold no other dearer than Caesar, you to hold our true selves dearer than all else beside. How shall my brother cease to be wroth with me? Bring him to me, and I will tell him, but to thee I have nothing to say about his anger. When one took counsel of Epictetus, saying, what I seek is this, how even though my brother be not reconciled to me, I may still remain as nature would have me to be. He replied, all great things are slow of growth. Nay, this is true even of a grape or of a fig. If then you say to me, now I desire a fig, I shall answer, it needs time. Wait till it first flower, then cast its blossom, then ripen. Whereas when the fruit of the fig tree reaches not maturity suddenly, nor yet in a single hour, do you nevertheless desire so quickly and easily to reap the fruit of the mind of man? Nay, expect it not, even though I bade you. Epaphroditus had a shoemaker whom he sold as being good for nothing. This fellow by some accident was afterwards purchased by one of Caesar's men, and became shoemaker to Caesar. You should have seen what respect Epaphroditus paid him then. How does the good Felicion? Kindly let me know. And if any of us inquired, what is Epaphroditus doing? The answer was, he is consulting about so-and-so with Felicion. Had he not sold him as good for nothing, who had in a trice converted him into a wiseacre? This is what comes of holding of importance anything but the things that depend on the will. What you shun, enduring yourself, attempt not to impose on others. You shun slavery. Beware of enslaving others. If you can endure to do that, one would think you had been once upon a time a slave yourself. For vice has nothing in common with virtue, nor freedom with slavery. Has a man been raised to the tribuneship? Every one that he meets congratulates him. One kisses him on the eyes, another on the neck, while the slaves kiss his hands. He goes home to find torches burning. He ascends to the Capitol to sacrifice. Whoever sacrificed for having had right desires, for having conceived such inclinations as nature would have him. In truth, we thank the gods for that wherein we place our happiness. A man was talking to me today about the priesthood of Augustus. I said to him, let the thing go, my good sir. You will spend a great deal to no purpose. Well, but my name will be inserted in all the documents and contracts. Will you be standing there to tell those that read them, that is my name written there? And even though you could now be there in every case, what will you do when you are dead? At all events, my name will remain. Inscribe it on a stone, and it will remain just as well, and think beyond Nicopolis.